Looks like I'm live. I'll give folks a second. Hi y'all. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna give folks a couple of seconds to join, but we have 30 minutes today to talk about business moves and how really to manage your business during COVID. If you're thinking about launching a business, I know a lot of new ideas are coming about for people as we're thinking about how to pivot. We'll talk about running your business and managing your business during COVID. So hi everyone, thanks for joining us. Really excited to be here. Definitely want to make sure that I'm addressing your questions. I'll tell you about myself in a second, but if you have any questions that you want to chat about when it comes to running a business, launching a business, I'm all ears. So on that note, I probably should introduce myself. My name is Angelina Darasaw, and I've run my business for 5 years, and my company really focuses on coach staffing. So making sure that we are creating experiences to develop talent, and we manage different programs to help do that, all with a focus on diverse entrepreneurs, diverse professionals. So all training and development and coaching. And running a business for 5 years has been really difficult. There's tons of pivots that happen. I'm in activewear right now, and I just think about it. One of the things for me is making sure that I find time to take care of myself with all of the craziness that running a business does to you. And it is about making sure that you find opportunities to weave in self-care. And for me, that means being active. I used to be a D1 runner when I was in college at Davidson College. So I love to take breaks to do walks in the park. You might hear, well, he's knocked out right now, but normally you might hear my dog barking in the background as I'm getting through my work day. And it's just about finding ways to prioritize yourself when you're running a business. So my business, again, is C-Suite Coach, and we've been around for 5 years. I'm really excited. I'm also really excited to still be here and be able to survive and pivot during COVID, right? That was really difficult for a lot of business. And then the other thing that I should say is we also work with other programs that support small business owners. So one of the programs that we've run has helped reach 40,000 Black and Latinx small business owners in the last year, and offering really tactical training for running a business. So to be about my business, it takes a lot of work. Like I said, I have to, now more than ever, I used to be all about chic dresses and high heels all the time, but in the spirit of COVID, I'm very relaxed these days. And I think that's kind of been the expectation of all my clients too. So I do want to call out that I was really excited to now have some new comfy sneakers that I could enjoy my day in, that also still speak to my girly side that I like, having a little pizzazz. So really comfortable, but I love the design of this. So these are the Adidas snakeskin ones. Really excited about that. So again, please feel free to put questions in the chat, but some things that probably are on your mind when it comes to a business is, how do you know when is the right time to launch? How do you know how to get started? And I would say one of the key things that I think about is, one, making sure I am really prepared and have worked on solidifying my idea and knowing what is the problem that I'm solving for customers. So whenever I'm connecting with someone who's interested in starting a small business, those are kind of the key questions to ask. What are the problems that you're seeing in the marketplace? It's okay if most markets are saturated, right? So it's okay if other folks are doing similar work, but how are you going to solve that problem in your own unique way? What does your solution do? Why are you needed? And really finding out how to navigate your voice in that space is really important. So when you're thinking about launching, think about, one, what is the problem I'm solving? And how do I really just make sure that I have my own unique approach to engage my potential customers when it comes to solving the problem that I've observed in the marketplace? I think a common misperception around starting a business is, my boss is driving me crazy, or work is really hard and I want to manage my own schedule. I'm tired of all these people. And if I am just running my own thing, I'm going to have complete autonomy and complete flexibility to do whatever I want. And I would say, please know that that is not actually true, right? I always say when I quit my job, I stopped working for my boss, but my new boss became my customers. And now the flexibility you have as a small business owner is you're able to choose who you want to work with a little more, but you're always working for your customers. And that does mean sometimes difficult conversations, or making, finding new ways to make them happy, and making sure that you are working through their needs, even if sometimes it rubs against maybe something that's, you want to happen. You do have to make those sacrifices to keep engaging your customers and make them happy. I would say one of the sacrifices that I've had to make as a small business owner is always thinking about, now I have to learn all these new skill sets that I didn't necessarily know to keep my business alive and running, right? So as business, when you think about starting a business, you might think, I have this idea for a new candle company. I have this gorgeous candle with me right now, right? So I'm thinking about candles. And you might think, I want to launch a candle business. So as long as I know how to pour candles, and as long as I know how to, do my thing make them smell good, I should be good, right? And that's totally not really how it works. You do need to be really skilled and know the details of how to operate your product or your service with excellence. But running a business is more than just knowing your product or service, right? It's also, do I have a strategy for how I'm going to reach more customers? Have I thought about what the right legal infrastructure is for my business? Have I thought about, accounting and picking the right accountant? Having the right team around me so the IRS isn't on me. I know we just passed July 15th. Hopefully y'all paid your taxes. If y'all paid your taxes, wave at me. So I say all that to say that you have to not just focus on what it is you do well, but also be mindful that there might be some areas that will stretch you. Okay, good. I see some of y'all paid your taxes. Good. Okay. I love hearing that. So really be thinking about, am I willing to do some things that might make me feel uncomfortable? Now, one question that came up for me recently, someone asked me, I'm starting a business. This woman had just started a business, and she said, I can't manage all of this, because she's working full time. She also happens to be a mom, and she's like, I'm just doing too much, right? And so the question that she had is, I don't trust anybody to help me manage my business, because you don't know if these people out here can be trusted sometimes, and your business can be like your baby. And she was really struggling trying to figure out, how do I outsource some things, right? And so we talked about how to know when to delegate and when to outsource. So when you think about when you want to delegate and outsource some things, you should be thinking about, what are the parts of my business that don't really require my expertise? What are the parts that I'm doing because maybe it's administrative, but that key knowledge set I have isn't being used during this time? Those are all tasks that you can think about delegating. Someone asked what I'm rocking. So I'm very much in an Adidas mood today. These are the sneakers that I wanted to show y'all just because they're cute. So I had mentioned before, for my business, I'm in training and development, and I'm presenting at corporations a lot. I tend to really be into high heels and dresses, but COVID really changed the game for me. And what that meant is I had to invest in a lot of loungewear and just getting more comfortable, being comfortable, because now I'm at my computer all day. I might have to pause in the middle of the day to take out my dog. So I want to make sure when I'm doing those long walks that I'm comfortable. I haven't worn a pair of high heels since March 6th, actually. So I like to just make sure that when I take my long walks, we walk for about 30 minutes a day, that I'm comfortable. So, and I like these too because for me, they have the colors and the snakeskin that still gives me that feeling of, the things I like feeling very cute and girly that I like. So, okay, back to questions. Invest in loungewear. Sounds crazy, but it's reality, right? I 100% agree. Now is the time to be comfortable. And it's interesting, when COVID first started, I would show up to all my Zoom calls and my dresses and like my blazers. And like now all my clients at every level, they're like, look, we're showing up how we show up. You might get me in a backwards baseball cap. We'll show up however, right? So anyway, I'm going to just see, I have a question. What are the top 5 things you should do when first starting your own business is the question from FemSuite. So I would say 1, make sure your finances are right. So your personal finances, because if you open up any sort of business bank account, it is going to be dependent on what your personal credit score is. Also, we all would love to have a lot of customers right out the gate, but that may not always happen, right? It might take time to develop an audience. So you want to make sure that you don't have debt if you can avoid it. So when I was starting my business, I paid off all my student loans, and it was aggressive because I had a nice amount. So that meant I wasn't eating out with my friends as much. I was maybe buying the bottom shelf options of beverages because I wanted to save up to start my business. But that meant I was debt free. And then also really understand your budget. How much does it take for you to actually live? Because then you can start to understand, how much do I want my business to make in order for me to live at the lifestyle that I want to live. I would also say networking. Tell everybody about your business, right? Actually, earlier today, if any of y'all on the lives earlier today, just throw me a sign in the chat if you joined any of the earlier ones. Yep, okay, I see some waves. So earlier today, it was Greedy Vegan, was just talking about, sometimes we think our business is our baby and we don't want to share it with anyone. But if you're not sharing what your business does, you're missing a huge opportunity to have other people champion you. Champion. Did that, not even on purpose. But you're missing an opportunity to have other people really advocate for your business. So you want to be telling as many people as possible. And it can also give you some good feedback. If something is not working, it's important to know what's not working and why. And having that conversation helps you with that, right? Okay, so keep putting questions in the chat. I see you, FemSuite. I think I got through 5 for you, 5 things that you should know. So when it comes to misconceptions also about running a business, I would say in addition, so earlier I said make sure you recognize you're still working for someone, you're serving your clients. I think a lot of times when I was getting started years ago, people would say, I have a small business. That means you just hang out on the beach all day with, and work on your laptop from the beach. And now there are some days, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Someone said they love my hair. There are some days where you can be flexible and work different places. But for the most part, it's making sure you're on the same schedule as your client so you can meet your client's needs. And someone else said, I'm always nervous to share about my business because I want things to be perfect. Well, there is that famous saying, do not let perfect be the enemy of the good. And I think if you talk to one of the business owners that I follow a lot and hear what she talks about is the founder of Spanx. And when she was getting Spanx started, she was using like the insides of stockings. And then she just had to keep prototyping. And she was selling things that are nowhere like what she sells today. So you're going to have to keep innovating and making changes to get your business to improve anyway. So don't be scared about sharing where you are. Be bold and demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. You're an expert in your product or service. Hey girl, yes, progress over perfection. Hey Ani Bell, what's the best benefit from your own business? I would say I wake up every day excited, sometimes stressed, okay? I'll be honest, but I am excited because This is my passion. It drives me. At this point, I do have employees. I have contractors that depend on me. I'm able to help provide other opportunities that help people eat. I'm looking at health insurance plans right now for my employees. Like, these are things that affect people's life. And to feel that something I created is helping my community in that way is exciting for me. To be able to provide jobs, it sometimes feels really stressful and scary, but it's also really rewarding. And they say, no risk, no reward. So you have to make big risks to get the things you want. Okay, so keep putting your questions. I don't think I missed any, but if I did, okay, here's one. Do you think having a supportive friend help you launch your business, or did you do it completely independently? So I will tell you, it's a combination of both for me. I grew up in Brooklyn. Anybody from Brooklyn? If you are from Brooklyn, put it in the chat. I know Brooklyn is always everywhere, but I didn't grow up, independently wealthy or anything like that. I had definitely a very loving family, but a humble background. So there wasn't family support financially that could invest in my business. And because of that, I assumed that maybe my family would not be supportive. They would say, keep your corporate job, you have all the benefits. But instead, they said, go for it. And their faith in me actually really helped me feel supported in a way that money can't buy. I think knowing the people in your circle believe in you and are willing to, just shout from the rooftops what you're doing helps so much. So really, you need support in some way, because a small business journey is hard. People tell you no. Sometimes they're not buying your product. Sometimes they're not investing in your service, and you need that support around you. Okay, so a couple questions. When is the next giveaway? So we have details on the giveaway. We'll share some of those details again, and I'll put it up in my story if you like. I'm at Lena Darasaw, so check me out. And then the other thing is, how did you know when you were ready? How did you have the confidence to take the first steps for your business or for your vision? I think it's hard to know when you're ready, and you're never really going to be as ready as you want. Because for me, ready, I would have like 19 degrees and X amount of money saved. I had a couple months of rent saved. My credit score was good, and I really had shared the idea with a lot of people. So again, don't be scared to share the idea with a lot of people. And that helped me build my confidence. I wrote a business plan. I do think that there's some value. Do you need one to launch a business? No. But for your own self to flesh out the ideas and really think about what the process is going to be for you and how you're going to get customers, you need to do that thinking in advance to feel confident. Okay, more questions. Yes, Brooklyn. Yes, the best type of support is family. How much money should you have to start an online store? So there's a couple different ways to answer that, because I don't know what you're selling. One, you want to have at least enough money to invest in whatever the inventory is you need. And then also, when it comes to building a website with an online store, those fees range. I would say you can expect to spend on a website platform to host your store anywhere from $300 to $500. There are some other platforms that have stores like Etsy, where they'll do the hosting. You don't have to have your own website, but they will take a percentage of your sales. Okay, other questions. Am I copying the 12s? So I don't know. So I'll show the sneakers again, because we have 10 minutes left. So again, make sure you keep putting your questions in. I was just saying the other day, I've never had a pair of Jordans. I actually never even had a pair of Air Max. I do have a lot. I used to run track, so I have a lot of running sneakers. I ran a New York City marathon. Again, when you're having a business going, you have to find ways to take care of yourself. And for me, it was like, okay, I'll have this goal of getting up and running every day so I don't let myself completely go, because I would forget to work out. I would forget to eat. And you just can't live like that. It's not productive, it's not healthy, and it's actually going to harm your business. You're the leader, right? So if you're not taking care of yourself, then how's your business going to survive, right? So you do have to find ways to take care of yourself. What's something innovative you've done in your business in response to COVID. That's such a good question. So for me, trying new technologies, which was really difficult, I had started a new employee on February 24th, which was 2 weeks before COVID, and we've now been almost completely virtual, but it did force me to really have to get to learn technologies that could deliver training. So I do training and development that could still feel like there was a community, because we're used to in-person events. So that meant learning things that felt uncomfortable and took a lot of time. And so investing in new learnings and new technologies. Okay, someone wants me to say their name, but they did not put what their name was. Any other questions? So yeah, keep them coming. I'll tell you a couple other things. So I would also say you do have to, so we talked about risk, no reward. You also have to make those risks in trusting people to work for you and to work with you. So not just, your friends and your personal network, but as you lead, you have to think about delegating. So what does it look like? How do you begin to build your trust with other people? I want you to just be thinking about really asking the right questions early, maybe doing short-term assignments when you have people working with you so you don't feel like you're investing so much. But you will not be able to grow with just yourself. You need a team of support around you. So you do have to let go of the leash a little bit and build trust in other people. Yeah, delegating is really important. When first starting your business, did you ever have a big moment where you thought about giving up, girl? Or I don't know if it's a girl or guy, but girl or guy, let me tell you. So yes, and yes. I've had 1,000 of those moments. It's really interesting. So my business is really corporate, and I have a good friend who's the Broadway actress. And I say pitching for new clients is almost like going on audition every day. And y'all know how hard acting is. So it's hard because you put your all into it, and it can be a make or break moment. Any new contract, any new client can be a make or break moment. And I used to feel like I was finding myself taking it so personally if I didn't get the results that I wanted. And so what I learned is I did have to, a saying that I use all the time, never too high on my high days, never too low on my low days. And that if I get a rejection, sometimes that's protection, right? That just thinking about not personalizing it and seeing the opportunity and even what feels like a loss is really important, because though when it's not moving, the first 2 years, I did not make any money. Not only did I not make money, I also went into debt. But now I manage really big budgets. I manage some good budgets. So I say that to say, like, there will be a shift if you stay persistent with it. Anything that you keep going at, eventually you're going to get to what you need. But that means, you got to really go after some uncomfortable moments. The biggest mistake you made as an entrepreneur, and what did it teach you? So I will tell you, as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of expensive mistakes that can be made. So I think, having the wrong accountant that messed up my taxes, having some legal issues sometimes. So what that taught me is I needed to build my network of other entrepreneurs. And that doesn't mean that your friends and family who aren't business owners aren't important. They're definitely valuable, but so it's like make new friends and keep the old, right? You have to meet other people who are entrepreneurs who can say, if an accountant sends you a proposal that looks like that, or if your accountant does this, if your marketing manager does this, then they're crazy because they've done it and they've been it. So I would say build up your circle of other entrepreneurs. And so the other thing that came up, any tips for connecting with individuals just to connect? When it comes to networking, it can feel transactional. So why can't we connect just to connect? And if their business comes out, then cool. So I would say this can really vary depending on the stage of business people who are in business are in, right? Definitely you want to have those organic connections, but sometimes when you are managing a lot on your plate, and you'll see this as your business expands, it can be hard to carve out time just to have fun. I will say that I'm trying to be more intentional, and I've seen this with a lot of my small business friends. But it's hard to carve out time just to chill and have fun and do drinks, because I'm always thinking, like this hour that I'm spending to do drinks, like what could I build to help me make more money so I could pay an employee more, or create a new offering so I could do this better. So I would say it's a combination. There are going to be some folks that you just naturally vibe with and some folks you don't. What I've always said is everybody is not going to be for me, and that's okay, right? You can't win everybody no matter how much you want. It's where you focus that makes the difference. So if I focus on all those people that, you know, aren't going to make time for me or aren't going to be able to invest in me the way I want, I'm going to be really disappointed a lot. But if I focus on the people who do, because there are people that show up for you, that give you the time that you want, that give you the relationship that you need in business. If I focus on them, I'm going to really see life in a different perspective. So you want to focus on who is showing up for you, not who isn't. Okay, I'm trying to read through the comments. Hey to everyone that says say hey. And then what else? Okay, biggest mistake that helped the most, I said again, costly mistakes teach you a lot. So when you're talking to someone who's a business owner, like say you're trying to start a business and you talk to people that have businesses, I would ask them that question all the time. What have been your most expensive mistakes? And then list them all out and then find a solution so you don't have to make that expensive mistake is really important. And then also networking in the fitness world can be hard. I've heard that. Personal trainers in the building, starting your own training company can be really difficult. Yeah, so again, it's all about resilience. It's all about thinking about not giving up, because as much as I love what I do, it's really hard. It stressed me. I've probably cried more over my business than I've cried over anything in my life. And I've been in love, like all of the things, right? So it's your baby and it can take a lot out of you, but you can't just stop because it gets hard. It's not about, when you're in that moment, it's not about what will happen if I don't get through it. It's more, what is going to be my strategy, because there will be another side. So you do have to keep that in mind. There will be difficult times. Shout out to all of you who are sharing your personal training businesses and other businesses. Yeah, just think about how your strategy for reaching new customers. I know it's hard, but right now with so much online, there's so much you can do to connect with people that can be new customers for your business. So when it feels hard, I think express those grievances and then try to come up with solutions with new people. That's why networking is important. I can have a totally different perspective that might help you have a new idea you might not have otherwise considered. Okay, so I'll take any last questions because we have 2 more minutes. But I want to just remind you to take care of yourself. I see one of my girls said, hey, boo. I take walks every day. I do things to make sure that, and like I said, I'm working more on like social activities as well. But you're not going to be a great leader. You're not going to show up. My IG is at Lena Darasaw. I'll ping it in the chat. But you're not going to show up the way that you need to show up to be successful and to thrive if you're not taking care of yourself. So learn everything you need to learn about running your business, but make sure you never lose sight that you can't pour from an empty cup. Another saying I love to use is you have to put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. So if you're not well, and if you're not in a place to accept those rejections because you haven't worked on yourself, and in business there are tons of them, then you're not going to be able to follow through with the vision that you have for yourself. So whether that's taking walks or signing up for a marathon or whatever it is, lifting weights, whatever it is that makes you feel happy, having a glass of wine, you do have to make sure that you dedicate some time to take care of yourself, because we need you. We need your business. There are new businesses popping up every day and markets are saturated, but I have like 50 candles in my house from all different businesses. Okay. We want your business. So make sure that you serve us by serving yourself. I don't see any other last questions, but I'm really glad I had this time with you. Check out my business at Lena Darasaw. It's in the comments, and at C-Suite Coach, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.